Right, everything's back together in the clutch department now, and it just remains for me to put some oil in the primary chain case. And as with the gearbox, I've chosen to use engine oil, 2050 engine oil, which I manage okay with in the engines, the gearboxes, the primary drives and the forks. But I will concede that obviously different grades of oil and whatever in the forks will affect the damping and so on, so there could be a personal preference to use other oil there, and I respect that. And the here we are, we're full. The primary case, now a lot of people say they like to use ATF, automatic transmission fluid, which is fine in one of these. The oil for the clutch and the primary drive is totally separate and isolated from the engine and the gearbox. There are some makes and models where I've seen people suggest that they might want to use ATF in the primary case. For instance, the old Royal Enfield 250 Crusader, and the primary case does in fact have a little filler plug like this, but you really don't want to be putting ATF in one of those because they actually share their engine oil with the clutch and the primary drive. So if you have a dry primary case on a Crusader for whatever reason, if you've been working on the clutch, don't be tempted to put ATF in that, because if you do, you'll be putting it in the engine as well, and I'm sure that perhaps no immediate harm would come to it, but it would be going into the engine oil and you really don't want that. But for anything that's got a sealed compartment separate in every way from the engine and the gearbox and whatever, that's fine. And the ATF, people say that it helps reduce slip and drag of the clutch, and that obviously is a bugbear of some of these bullets. I would think that it would probably, I don't know, maybe sort of reduce drag more than it would reduce slip, to be honest, because only really when you've got a cold engine and perhaps the oil's thick, and it's not all over the clutch plates anyway usually, because don't forget the clutch spins and the centrifugal force and things get warm, so once you've got warm engine oil it'll fling quite well anyway, but obviously the ATF will be a lot thinner and fling further and faster, I suppose. But I think overall, I think it would probably be most noticeable when you've got a fairly cold engine and perhaps you might get a bit of clutch drag. It'd probably be most beneficial then, although also I do sort of appreciate that maybe it would clear off the friction plates faster and perhaps reduce any tendencies to slip as well. And these clutches can be pigs as far as slip and drag is concerned. I'm hoping that I've made some improvements with this one, as we've already seen, but I'll go along with, I can understand people wanting to use ATF. I've got engine oil in here at the moment. If there's a problem and the owner wants to switch to ATF, I'll respect that, and that's what we'll do.